t-shirts, your slipper. So you see all those slippers, all those sandals, your handbag, your tank top, your t-shirts, everything. Don't worry about them. Just take everything and give it to a younger brother or a younger sister or a cousin that might need them, because you don't need them in Canada. Trust me. Hello, it's Kosi here again. Thank you for stopping by. How are you today? If you're a returning subscriber, I hope you've been keeping safe since the last video I uploaded or since the last video you watched. And if you're a new subscriber, yay! Welcome to the party. We are so happy to have you. Where have you been all this while? Thank you for subscribing. Today's video is a continuation of the series Newcomer in Canada, and it's also part 2 of the last video I uploaded about things you need to do as a newcomer as soon as you arrive. So in today's video, I'm talking about things you need to do as a newcomer before you hop on that flight, before you hop on the plane from your home country. So are you interested, or do you think somebody might be interested in the information I'm going to be sharing with you today? Then don't go anywhere. I will get into the video in a bit. As usual, everything I'm going to be talking to you about today is my personal experience, my personal opinions, things that helped me as a newcomer in Canada, things that are still helping me as a newcomer in Canada. And I thought, you know what, there's love in sharing. I better just share this information with other people who are also going through similar struggles as I am going through, or as I went through, and maybe help make your own struggle a lot easier. Number one item that I think is very important before you leave your country is to make sure that your credentials are in your bag. I moved to Canada through the Federal Express Entry Program as a permanent resident, and of course one of the requirements was to evaluate my transcript and my credentials with WES. But guess what? As soon as you arrive, you might actually have to re-evaluate your credentials, and trust me, you don't want to be in that position and then realize that your transcript and your credentials is several hours away from you. So make sure that you have your credentials in your bag. I didn't have to do that, but I know a few people who had to actually re-evaluate their credentials when they arrived. Number 2, your COPL. Make sure your COPL is not in your check-in luggage. Make sure your COPL, your confirmation of permanent residence, is right in your bag or in your backpack or in your hand luggage, because as soon as you arrive Canada, you're going to have to present that to the immigration officers before they let you leave the airport. So make sure it's very easy to reach. That's A4. Is it A4 that they call it? No, A5. I think it's A5 they call that paper that you get when you get your passport back. You will need it at the airport, and of course you need your international passport. So make sure those 2 things are not very far to reach. Number 3, clothes. Regardless of where you're moving from, Canada is one of the coldest countries in the world. So trust me, one thing I had to struggle with was the right clothes that suits the weather and that suits my style as well. My clothes have to suit my style regardless of how cold it is. So you want to start gathering things like sweaters, jackets, thermals, scarves, thick socks. But I will say at this point, don't overdo that. Don't get too much. Just get enough. Just get what will be enough for you for the first few days, because when you arrive, it's important for you to try out a few things so you're very sure what works for you first before you start investing. But yeah, I moved just before the winter started, so it was a struggle for us, but thankfully we actually had some sweaters and cozy pants and jackets that helped us through for the first few days and first few weeks. But you see, your tank tops, your t-shirts, your slippers, your sandals, if you have any younger brother or sister that you think would need that, just leave it for them, because trust me, you would need it here in Canada. I came with my handbags and some of those things, and I can tell you for sure that I haven't used them for one day. So leave them at home. So after clothes, number 4 is a backpack. Ladies, leave your handbag at home. So every single person has at least one backpack. I'm not kidding you, in Canada, because that's the most convenient way of moving around in Canada. And the reason is this: Canada is very cold, so having a handbag when you're moving around might be very inconvenient, because every single person has their hands in their pockets. So how do you want to put your hands in your pockets when you have a nice handbag hanging on your elbow? So having a backpack is the easiest way to go about it. Even when I'm going to work, my laptop, my snack and my lunch is always in my backpack, and I'm good to go with my hands in my pocket. So if you can get a backpack because it will also be helpful to you during the trip to Canada, then perfect, make sure you do. Forget about the handbag when you get here, and if you think you still need a handbag, then you can get more handbags, but make sure you have a backpack. Number 4, your driving license. If you still have a very valid driving license, please make sure your driving license is in your bag, because when you arrive in Canada, the government actually gives you about 90 days to use your driving license from home. So I guess they expect that within those 90 days you understand the Canadian driving style, and you'd have gotten your own license, which is about 3 months. You'd have gotten your own license. So make sure you have that. And if you can, try and get a verification letter from the road safety office in your country, because sometimes the registry here might need to reach out to the road safety office back at home to verify that your license is authentic before they issue you a Canadian driving license. Get that. So make sure you have a driving license, and if you can get a verification letter to say that your driving license is authentic, then all fine and good. It will make your process a lot faster. Number 6, adapter. I'll probably link a picture right here that explains what I mean. In my home country, the socket of my gadgets and electrical appliances is 3-pin, but here in Canada we use 2-pin. So if you're coming to Canada with your laptop, with your phone chargers, your iPad chargers, with your gadgets, you might want to make sure that you have an adapter that can convert your 3-pin to 2-pin, because you won't see a 3-pin socket in Canada. I think I knew that, but it was just one thing I actually forgot. So when we got here, we had to start looking for where to get good adapters. So if you can get an adapter and put it in your bag right now, if you're moving very soon, that will save you a whole lot of stress. Number 7, you need to come with a few drugs. I'm saying this because prescription drugs here in Canada are very expensive. You can have a cold or you can have malaria, and you spend a whole lot of money treating yourself. And I know a few people that say that when they first moved to Canada, they actually had malaria for the first few weeks. That didn't happen to me, but the point is that if you can, come with drugs. Anti-malaria drugs, number 1. Painkillers, number 2, because the trip might be very long and you come back exhausted and you don't have access to those. So make sure you have that with you. And then antibiotics, regular antibiotics that we have free access to back at home. If you can get those, I think it's going to be very helpful to you, especially if you come down with malaria as soon as you arrive. Number 8, you need to come with things like mentholated balm, lip balm, shea butter. The dehydration here is real and the weather is very dry. So I came with shea butter. I visited Canada briefly before I came, and when I visited, shea butter was good for me. Like, shea butter was fine. But I realized that when I finally moved, when I use shea butter and I step out, my body still gets very dry and itchy and painful and very uncomfortable. So shea butter wasn't working for me anymore, but I know that there are people who still use shea butter and shea butter works well for them. So if you think shea butter is going to work for you, please make sure you have shea butter in your bag. Make sure you have lip balm, because your lips will be dry and start cracking. And make sure you have like mentholated balm in case you have a cold and you just want something that will relieve you of the cold quickly. Capiche? And number 9, you need cash. If you can, change money at home before you arrive. Change it into US dollars or Canadian dollars, because at the airport or during the trip you might need to just buy a few things, maybe pay to use the cart or just anything. You never know, there might be an emergency during the trip, and the money that you're coming from home with, if you have cash, won't be able to solve your problem. So make sure you have USD or Canadian dollars, because you never know, there might be an emergency and you will need it. Trust me. I mean, don't carry more than $10,000. I think that's what the requirement is. Don't carry more than $10,000, and if you do, make sure you declare it. But what I'm talking about is just petty cash. Just make sure there's some money in your bag. And then number 10, food. And like when we arrived here, we realized that the staple meal here is bread, sandwiches. They eat bread in all shapes and form, and that's kind of weird to us. So if you're someone who is a little picky when it comes to food, do your best to carry basic things that you might need when you arrive here in Canada, because you might not have access to it, or it might be very expensive. because the first few weeks when you first arrive, trust me, you don't want food to be one of the things that you have to worry about. So just carry some food items that will be able to take care of you for the next week or few weeks or few months, until you finally decide what your eating pattern and what your food options would be going forward in Canada. So we are done. That brings me to the end of today's video. 10 things that I think you need to make sure you have with you before you hop on that plane to come to Canada, because this is a new life. This is a life change for you, just the way it was for us. It's also a life change, so make sure that you are prepared as much as you can. And I'm sharing this video because I'm trying to make your life a lot easier. So if you like anything that I have said in this video, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. Do not forget to share, and most importantly, please subscribe and build a community. And if there's anything that you think you would like me to talk about, that you're wondering about or you're bothered about, then leave me a comment below. I'll be more than happy to treat that or to address that for you. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching up to this point. You are the real MVP. Till my next video, please stay safe and take care of yourself, and all the best in your Canada journey. Goodbye.